Ahoy there! So we dropped off the bus in November. Now we're picking it up in April of 2021. Now it didn't take that long to get all the work done. Although, quite honestly, I think it felt that long for Adam. So in this episode, we're picking up at Adam's shop, where we're gonna see what's been done, what hasn't been done, and how much more gray hair does Adam have after working on this baby.
I don't know if you remember how he had disconnected that battery on the flush. So we have a battery in there now, and that battery is on the charge isolator as it should be, so that will be charged separately from your bank every time you're running.
Okay.
So now this, you shouldn't have any problems with this generator being completely isolated. So that's what's going on with this. I just wanted to show you that. So this thing here, that's the new ArgoFET charge isolator.
Oh, okay.
So basically what that does is it takes your alternator input, splits it between your forward bank and your generator now.
Okay. So all 6 batteries are one bank in the front?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's how it was. And so we just kept them there, but all the lugs, connections, cables, all that stuff that was all screwed up and gnarly.
The lowest, because these are lead acid, the lowest we can go is what, 12.2?
Yeah, 12.2 volts is 50%
Okay.
on here.
12.7 is full, but 12.2 is half.
Well, for wet, it's like 12.98 is really full.
Okay.
2.16 volts per cell.
Okay. So we just got to remember 12.2 is, we don't go any lower than that, babe.
Yep.
Okay.
We cleaned up all the ground. There was probably 8 or 9 cables and connectors that were basically just wore through, vibrated through.
Yep.
So your solar panel charge cables come through a 90-degree clamshell up here in the overhead. We basically centered them so that there was already a piece of foam that was removed from another job or something, so that way we wouldn't have to remove more foam.
Yeah, there used to be an air thing up top that's been removed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yep. So that's what we used that chaseway, but then from here to get it down to the battery bank, we had to pull pretty much all of the dash off, pull that side trim off, pull the front trim off, and run down through. And we had to go through a bunch of foam, so we had to drive, drive an all-thread rod through the foam so that we could put the cable down through. It was something special. But like all of this, we had all of these.
Get them off?
Yep.
Wow.
Had to in order to, and there is a lot of stuff behind this cover for your control system. I don't know if you've had that off or not.
I haven't yet. Is it
No.
like a boat where everything's just shoved under there?
Basically.
Okay.
So this is basically, the electrical system on this is like 3 40-foot deltas.
Really?
The amount of electrical that's in here is unbelievable. It's cool, but it's a nightmare. I bet you, I ain't shitting you, I bet you there's 90, 100 miles of wires. I think.
Really?
Oh, man. As you see here, if you got a leak there's a little bit of a coolant leak here.
Okay.
Your main back there by the pan
Yep.
is leaking, and then the generator, obviously, that's leaking.
Oh, yeah. The generator needs to be resealed.
For this, same thing, we replaced cable ends and just cleaned it up. Inverter.
Yeah. What did we land on, Andy? They asked me what kind of inverter you put in. I'm like, I don't know.
It's the Magna,
Okay.
or it's a Magnum inverter, but the MagnaSine, meaning you can use a single 120 volt supply, 2 120 volt supplies, which is what it splits the 240 into. And then the 2800 watt.
2800 watt. Okay.
Yep.
And so when you're running the air conditioners, are they going through this or no?
Oh no, that's what burned up your other one.
Right.
That's what killed it. So this now has its own sub panel the way it should be.
Okay.
So you have, and this is also the battery charger for your house bank. So once we get back to the panel, I'll show you, this has a supply breaker coming from either shore or generator out of your main. And it comes from that main panel into here. which as soon as it senses that it has 120 volts, it shifts to charge mode and then passes through. So regardless of what mode this is in, whether it's charging or inverting, you still have your power at the inverter panel.
Okay.
It's just one, and it does it automatically, and it'll show you on the screen, but it will, you don't have to change anything with the inverter other than if you need to secure it, you have to kill that breaker and kill this. So this is the DC shutoff. So if anything happens, or if you need to work on this thing, because this is load sensing, you may go up on the, you can go on your galley receptacles that are fed from this.
Yep.
You put a meter on there, it's going to read 0 volts. So this thing senses a load, and if there is no load, it shuts it down, so it uses way less battery power.
Oh, for the standby or whatever it is.
Yep.
Okay.
And so once you
turn something on, it's going to have a delay?
it's milliseconds.
Okay.
What happens is people will test it with a meter, think that it's off because
Yeah,
there's no
and then you
voltage,
get zapped.
and then you pull it out, and then you become the load, and it'll pump you. So always shut that breaker off if you're going to work on anything on that inverter panel.
So the winter storage,
Mm-hmm.
we turn that off as well?
Yep.
Okay. We turn off that and the one under the dash.
In your electronics one, behind that speaker.
That's the one I can never find.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what was really killing your battery, because that kept all of your caps, your capacitors still charging.
Yep.
This was just dangling,
Mm-hmm.
but I figured it would be kind of handy to have a 120 outlet, so we mounted it over here, and we still got 120.
Okay.
There is if you guys are in summer and this thing's working hard and it feels warm, normal charging, it's not really going to do anything. But we did put a little
Vent, I saw,
vent
yeah.
here, and then we put a computer cooling fan that you can just
That's what that switch is.
turn that switch. It's a DC,
Okay.
and you just turn that switch, and it'll pump the hot air out of it.
Perfect.
I was going to try to get it on a box and make it look pretty, but there's really nowhere else to mount it, and so that's a little hill jack.
Yes, it is.
How I mounted this with.
But it's some fine hill jack work.
Yeah. Go up top side?
Sure.
So here Adam's showing Larry where the solar panels got mounted. We ended up only getting 2 because I guess Renergy told Adam it only needed 2.
Well, I think the main thing for us to remember is that it's on the port side, just for
Sun, trees.
Yeah, for the winter. Yep. Well, and for the winter, for sure, you want to make sure you get as much south as you can.
Yep.
So, yeah, this will give you your line voltage for line 1, line 2. Well, and this comes specifically from that shore power.
Okay.
But it also reads your line 1 and line 2 from the generator. Regardless of which one you're on, you can see what your line voltage is.
No.
That big black box,
Okay.
yeah, so that's your surge protector. And the manual for that, that's the one you bought offline, but that manual is up there on the dash. So, the step switch is still working. If you close the door and you turn that switch, it bypasses this switch.
Okay, yep, it's got one on the dash too.
Yep. But, so, there was a bunch of burned up wiring down underneath here. What the heck is going on? Yeah. I mean, it was like cooked. If you see this little plate, so this is what shuts the solenoid down.
Oh, okay, it's like the limit switch or whatever?
Yeah, so once this pushes out, it kills the signal going to that air solenoid.
Okay.
Well, this tab, like every once in a blue moon, like right now, it caught, no problem.
Yep.
But sometimes it will come down underneath here, it goes ding, and so it doesn't shut that off, so it stays energized at 12 volts.
Oh.
And it just cooked it. But so that, this little tab,
Yep.
you
can hear it. Yep.
But this thing's, it's pretty tired.
Maybe my next trip over I should bring the welder so I can put a better one on.
Yeah, it definitely needs something.
Okay.
And I would round those edges if possible. So this is just a flat bar, and what's happening is that flat bar gets caught there and then bends down.
Okay. Good catch.
New front panel that we built. This tells you what your charger is doing. So right now it's in CHG charge mode, and it's giving you, so this has a bulk, absorb, and float charge rate.
Okay.
Right now it's on float because it's
Charging.
yeah, because the batteries
lightly.
are just about charged up.
Okay.
When they're lower, it'll sit at bulk for a couple of hours. Same thing with this. There is no more Shore 30.
Yep.
So your Shore 50 is for both because you use that one cord regardless whether you're on 50 amp or 30 amp.
Now, what's the best way when we light off the generator? Do we want this off or do we want it on generator?
You can leave it on Shore or you can have it on off, either one. So like if you're on Shore power and your guys are going to start the Jenny, you start the Jenny, make sure it's running, make sure it's good, and then click over to Gen. Yeah, you never put that in generator before you start it.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, you're browning out then. You
Yep.
set down the reverse side. Yeah,
Yep.
you don't want to do that.
Okay. And likewise, when we're going to secure the generator, turn this off first.
Correct. Yep.
That's how we were doing it before.
And same thing with shore power. Plug it in, then turn it to shore power.
That doesn't
Doesn't
matter as
matter?
much because there's no ramp up. You've got your Bluetooth monitor, the module. This tells you how to set that up in your phone, and it works actually quite nicely. You've got your main line fuse for the charge controller here. So this is wired directly down to your batteries. So it goes from solar panel to the batteries directly. Just this house bank, not your generator bank.
Yep. So both sides of the front.
Yep.
Because they're all hooked up together. Okay.
And then here's that aux battery combiner.
Mm-hmm.
It says aux battery. That's combining the generator battery with these.
Okay. So like if I ran these down too far, had to start the bus, I could start the generator. Now when I start the generator, does the generator charge its battery?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So the generator battery is charged by the main engine or the inverter thing?
No, it's just by the main engine.
Just by the main engine?
Yep. Or you'd have to sit there and hold that
Forever.
aux. Well, I mean, definitely,
Yep.
there's a lot of amp hours in this battery bank, and it's only one little,
Yep.
It's not going to take very long to get a charge for that. That's basically like
a jump starter.
Yeah, it's like putting jumper cables from a semi 8D to a regular car battery.
Okay. And speaking of jump start, the jump start terminals out there still work?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. We used those last time.
Yeah, no, they're kind of cool.
Okay.
The light on there. So I made a new label.
Okay.
So your main power coming in, this is from generator or shore, still the main breaker. You still got your aux air compressor, still got the hot water heater. You'll see now you have two spares where we pulled your inverter panel outlets from in the refrigerator. So now you can do some additional loading in here in the future if you ever want to tie anything else in. You've got one open there and one open here.
Okay.
Number 4 and 5 is your inverter, this other 2-pole. So if you shut this off, your charger is no longer going to be running. This is the inverter supply, which will pass through to this thing, and it controls your charger.
Now, can the refrigerator run off the inverter?
Yep. So the inverter panel.
Oh. Looks like a freaking submarine in here now.
Yeah. You've got your main AC coming from the inverter, and then you've got your refrigerator, the galley outlets, aft cabin outlets, forward cabin outlets. Okay, so all those outlets are there, and the refrigerator is all running off the inverter. Yeah, and then we tested the AC, tested your outlets, pretty much ran everything through.
Right on.
So I think you're good to go.
So what do you think of that? Turns out there's a little bit of wire in this bus. And it also turns out it's not very easy to get to. But you know what? That's what makes a Wanderlodge a Wanderlodge. It's probably also what keeps the resale value down because, let's face it, poor Adam, he's done working on these babies. And I gotta tell you, our mechanic that's coming over, he already said he'll work on ours and work on Russ's. That's it. These are not easy to work on. They're a lot of fun, but you better be a mechanic and have a place to work on it. So now we're still wrapping up a new project in here, trying to fix a fuel leak on this one, as well as repair the air system. These doors here are open and closed by air actuators, and one of those is leaking. So in the process of fixing that, we're hoping we can quit camping here and actually go camp somewhere else before this trip is over. As always, really appreciate the comments. You're always talking about subscribers, right? Don't want to talk about it too much, but hey, we just went over 500 subscribers. So to those of you who clicked like and subscribe, thanks a lot. To you lurkers out there, well, I hope you enjoy it even if you're not clicking subscribe. And then everybody else, like I said, if you don't like it, make sure you click the thumbs down twice. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.